The Telltale Heart is a short story written by Edgar Allan Poe and published in 1843, representative of Poe's macabre style. The story narrated in the first person by unnamed mind, who attempts to convince the readers of his sanity after committing a murder. The Telltale Heart is considered a classic Gothic of literature and remains one of Poe's famous stands of suspense. The narrator begins by insisting that while he is terribly nervous from the ordeal he is about to relate, he is not mad. Instead, his senses had been sharpened by the experience, and he explains that he will calmly tell us the whole story to prove his point. The narrator describes an old man whose eye he begins to fear and detest. Although the narrator relationship to this old man remains mysterious, he knows that he did not desire the old man's money, nor had he ever been wronged by the man, and in fact felt affection for him. Nevertheless, the narrator decides to kill the old timer so that he will never again have to look upon the pale, not filmy eye. Each night around midnight, the narrator sneaks into the old man's room and cautiously shines a lantern onto his eye, insisting, retelling that a madman has never been as wise and careful as this. However, because the old man's eyes is always closed, the narrator cannot summon the visceral distaste that he needs to kill him. On the 8 nights, the narrator's thumb slips the lantern fastening, and noise wakes the old man, who cries out in the terror for an hour. The narrator and the old man froze in place. Eventually, the narrator decides to slowly shines the lantern on the man's vulture eye, now wide open. The sight of the eye triggers the hatred he had been missing the last 7 nights. He begins to hear the old man's heartbeat, which he compares to the sound of the watch involved in cotton. As the heartbeat grows louder, the narrator worries that the beating will take the neighbors. He attacks, dragging the old man to the floor and stifling him with a mattress until he can no longer hear the beating. The narrator dismembers the old man's corpse and conceals it beneath the floorboard, describing the wise precautions he takes in doing so. He adds that not a spot of blood stains the floorboards, but the things he is done, as he cleverly collected using a tab tree. The policemen knock at the door around 4 o'clock in the morning. They have come to check on the house, having been summoned by a neighbor. Heard a shriek, the narrator invites the policemen in and confidently assured them that nothing is wrong, even brazenly inviting to sit down directly above the old man's corpse. However, just as the policeman assured of his innocence, the narrator begins to hear a familiar sound, that of a watch evolve. And cotton, he realizes, is the old man's heart, and increasingly agitated, eventually growing convinced that the policeman can hear it too. Finally, the narrator cries out and admitting the murder.